Hello, my name is Bruce Armstrong. I am a volunteer with the Longmont, Colorado Senior Computer Tech Center, or SCTC, and this is another video in a series of videos that we're producing to help people to figure out certain things with technical tech devices. And this particular video focuses solely on kind of the beginner's guide to a spreadsheet, and that's anything that's Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets or Apple's same spreadsheet that they use, and there's several others. They all seem to pretty much do the same thing, and I just want to introduce you to, maybe you've never used one or never thought you had a use for one. There are many uses that use them. I keep my address book sometimes in there. I sometimes use it for lists or data that I want to put in, or tax information, numbers. So it's a pretty interesting thing, and I'm just going to share a screen of a spreadsheet. Here is just a blank spreadsheet, and just to kind of navigate around here, I'm going to go up here to the top where I've got the cursor. All of the columns are labeled, and it goes A through, and there's a whole bunch of them that go to the right. You can put as many columns as you want, and then going down, it goes to 1,000,000 and something, so you can have as many rows as you need. Up here in these corners, if you say I click on one of the letters, it highlights the whole column. So that shows the whole column A, or I can click on the 1 and it shows the whole row 1. And if you look up in here, it's always going to tell you where you are. If I move around, now I'm at C6, so it's always the column and then the row. And that's how it comes up with where things are. Also, this one between the rows and columns, if you click on that, it highlights the entire thing. So you can do that. Now, to get you started on the rows and columns, it's kind of interesting. So say I wanted to make my columns, the columns are such that you can, if I wanted to make, say, the months of the year, I put January and February. And interestingly enough, I can go back and highlight both of those by holding the Shift key down. And cool little thing in the lower right-hand corner, when the little plus sign has, you can drag that out, and I can get, let's get one more. It's smarter than we are. If you don't have to type all the months in, you can type in 2 months and it knows it's going to be months. And say I have down here, I call it row 1, row 2, and then do the same thing. I click on row 1, hold the Shift key down, and use the down arrow to get both of them, and then wait till I get the plus sign in the in the lower right hand corner, and say I want 21 rows, 20 rows. It automatically knows to put the numbers in there, and then I can just enter information into each of these. These are called cells in common terminology, that you have the cells, and that's where you put information that you want. Say you wanted to put something specific. Now, just to give you one of the things that I run into when people are first using spreadsheets is they start running into the problem where, say I've got January data. Now notice it doesn't, I've got certain column widths here, and it doesn't show everything in there. I can do a couple of things. One is, the first thing I could do is that if you go up to the top between the columns, you get 2 little arrows, each pointing directly. And if you double click your mouse, it will automatically size your columns. The other thing you can do is you can go to that same place where those two little arrows are, hold your mouse down, and you can move it and change it any size you want. That's a cool little thing. You can do the same thing with rows. If you have rows that you want to make, they have more information, you can get the up and down arrows between the rows, and you can drag them and make a bigger row. That way you can hold more information and that sort of thing. Especially when you're doing titles and that kind of thing, you're gonna have some interesting things, sizes of columns. When you start putting information in, suppose I wanted to have a dollar amount. If I type in a dollar amount, $100, it automatically allows you to do that. But up here at the top, you've got accounting format. Okay, that's what the dollar sign is. That puts in cents, $100.00. There's also a percentage and a comma. You could put commas in there if you want that thing, but this is more for more advanced. There's the little box on the corner of the number. You can go in there and format however you like. You can highlight them. You can show them as red if they're negative, or negative signs, or however you want to do it. So that's one of the cool things is that, and then when you start typing text in, say, this is a long text. Okay, it laps over into column D, but I don't want it to overlap into column D. So up here at the top, there's a wrap text, and I can wrap text, and it automatically figures that out. And you can, again, you can go up the top, you can stretch it, make it however you want, but it's just an option open to you. So text is one of the favorite things. And so I'm going to open a file here and show you one little things. If we go into, let me see, file, recent, and I'm going to pull up what's called a CSV file. That's just a data file that has rows and columns in it. This happens to be census data that you'd pull right off the US Census data. So I open that, and it automatically populates it like a spreadsheet. But notice at the top, you've got equal distant column widths and equal distant rows. And you can see here that you've got a county name that's overlapping into the next column. You can do that little double click thing and get it to expand out. And that goes all the way down to the bottom and figures out how big does it have to be for all the counties. And another thing is if you have a number that exceeds your fixed column width, you've told them that you don't want it to be bigger than something, you might end up with an error message, or all asterisks or something that it shows. But that's how you take a big database and bring it into a spreadsheet. And you could, in the case that I was using this for, was to come up with county populations by year, and you can get that out of this database. There was another one that I was going to just as an example show you, is the recent. Okay, here is a CSV file. Where is it? It is a telephone company file of all kinds of areas of the country and area codes and prefixes and all this kind of stuff. But notice that each one of this was a CSV file, but if each one of these have a little green triangle in the corner, what does that mean? So if I click on it, there's a little I, and I can open that, and it says that's a number. It knows it's a number, but it's stored as text. Do you want to convert it to a number? Do you want to ignore it? there's all kinds of things it's telling you. And that's something you may want to do. Over here in this row, column O, there's data in here that has letters in it, and some of it that just has numbers in it. So if I click on this row or this particular cell, and it gives me this information note, it says, okay, that's a number stored as text. Do I want it stored as text? In this case, I knew that I had to. So that's kind of the basics of the Excel. If you were to using Google Sheets, it's going to look very much the same. You're going to have the same kind of information that you can put in here. And it's a very handy thing when you're keeping track of stuff that you want to have. And one of my favorites is that I keep passwords in a spreadsheet. And, this is a little bit of advanced, but you can encrypt the entire workbook with a password. And that way, no one can get into it unless they have the encrypted password. So that's kind of the basics, very quick video, and I hope it's been helpful for someone that's never used one. And Daryl will be back soon and be helping us with some of this stuff. So let me unshare my screen and then end this video.